it's like, this is just the most incredible experience that I get to experience. Like, this is the most incredible thing I get to do.
Hey everyone, welcome back to LDS Mission Stories. Today in the studio, I have my cousin Sawyer with me. What's up, bro?
What's up?
Thank you for taking the time to come and hang out with me.
Yeah, man, I'm excited.
So Sawyer, like I said, he's my cousin. We have spent our whole lives together, basically. He is as day one as it gets. A lot of good memories together. We were able to serve missions around the same time, and so it was cool to experience that together and learn from each other and kind of talk about it. Obviously, you had a very different experience than me, serving in Africa, and that's a huge reason why I've wanted to have you on. I haven't had anyone on talk about serving in Africa and what that's like. And obviously, there's a lot of missionary work going on in Africa, a lot of missions, and so your perspective is one that I value, and hopefully kids or anyone watching that is getting their call or got their call to Africa, you can hype them up on it.
Yeah. Well, it's the best. I love it. Like, I think about it all the time. So
Heck yeah. And I know you're the best hype man out there, so this will be fun.
I don't know about that.
But yeah, tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell me where you grew up and the process you went through deciding to go on a mission.
Yeah. So grew up in St. George, Utah. Growing up, we went to EFY together. So like, I was pretty normal, like Mormon family growing up. Like, we'd go to church, go to EFY, do stuff like that. I had two older brothers that served the mission, so that played a big role in leading me to if I wanted to go or not. I do feel like I never had that pressure to go from my family. Like, I had good examples like you and my brothers and cousins. Like, we have tons of people in our family going. But I don't know if I ever made that decision until like after going to a semester of college. So a big part of why I went is, one, the examples that I had in front of me, people like you, people like my two brothers that served. And I also had a really good friend group in high school. We were kind of the classic friend group where we did things probably we shouldn't be doing all the time, kind of like just messing around, not taking life too serious. And a few of them went right after high school, like they got their calls and they left. But I didn't really feel like that was the path for me. COVID 2020 is when I graduated.
That's right.
So COVID played a huge role, and I always view it as like a major blessing, just like God's plan for me, because I'm a big soccer player. I wanted to play in college, and that was kind of like my main focus at the time. I don't think a mission was my main focus. And when COVID hit, I had a couple offers to go play that next semester, but that season got canceled. And so, like, the schools I was going to,
your season, like the college season.
Yeah, the college season got canceled. So, like, it really put a decision I had to make. Like, do I want to go out to these schools that I would never really go to?
Yeah.
If there's not even going to be soccer there. Yeah. So I ended up going to BYU right after high school, and not playing any soccer there, which made a huge impact on my decision to serve. And I kind of just fell into the same routine once I got there. Like, I was just going to school, sometimes going to church, sometimes sleeping in through it. And I had an awesome roommate. And during that time, there's one Sunday that kind of made a big difference on deciding to go or not. I slept in through church. We had 9 a.m. church, slept in. And my roommate was like, dude, I feel like we should still go. And so it's BYU. There's wards everywhere all the time.
Every 30 minutes.
Yeah, every 30 minutes in every building on campus. So we found this 4 p.m. ward to go to, and like the main message that the bishop got up and he was just like, I swear he was looking right at me, but he was just like, if you're on the fence about serving a mission and you don't know if it's right for you, like it is. There's no better decision you can make right now. Because I was kind of at a point in my life where I was trying to figure out
Yeah.
what I wanted to do, if I wanted to keep playing soccer. And he's just like, if you're confused about life, like that's your best decision. And I'm sure that happens all the time for people, but this specific moment, like, it hit me pretty hard. And I just started my papers like right away, and it's kind of why I decided to go.
Yeah, I love that. Was there any adversity that you faced once you started your papers and received your call? What were some of the challenges that you had to kind of overcome before going out?
Yeah, no, I think most people fall into those challenges. I tell my wife this all the time, but like before something great happens, even in like, for example, Joseph Smith seeing the first vision, like he was tempted by Satan right before,
Yeah.
or before Jesus' ministry, like he was tempted. And I think for missionaries going out, once you make that decision, that's when the temptations are really going to come. Um, for me, it was just doubts over and over. Like, do I really want to leave for 2 years? Do I want to like postpone my life? Like, I wanted to be an engineer. I wanted to do engineering school. I wanted to play soccer. And I had a lot of doubts with that. Like,
Yeah.
what if the person I'm supposed to be marrying gets married when I'm gone?
Yeah.
Just little stuff like that. And I think those were like the temptations that come before some of like the best moments of my life happened.
Yeah. That's a very interesting thought because you fast forward to where you are now in life,
Yeah.
right? And it's like you're still playing a lot of soccer.
Mm-hmm.
You played college soccer, you married the girl of your dreams, you have a business, you're um, studying engineering, like you're doing all of these things that you maybe thought you would have had to sacrifice to go on a mission. But I
Yeah.
think that that is an important thing for kids to think about when they're considering a mission is it's like it's not either or,
Mm-hmm.
you know. I mean, sometimes you may be sacrificing an opportunity to go on a mission, but a lot of the time when it comes to marriage or career or education, like those opportunities are still there right when you come home.
They're still there. And like everything that you just mentioned, like all the good things in my life right now are a direct result of my mission. What
Mm,
I learned on my mission, like the attributes that I gained, the character traits that I gained, and like just the experiences that I had. Every single good thing in my life right now is a direct result from a mission. And I wish I could go back and tell the person, me, who was doubting right before I left, like, it's going to be good.
yeah.
It's actually going to, everything that you want to do in your life is going to be times 10 because you're sacrificing this and you're going to just become a better human.
Yeah. So let's hear about that now. Like what are some of the early lessons you learned? Obviously, you had I'm trying to remember the timeline of it. So
Hmm.
when did you leave?
I left 2021 March. Yeah,
Okay.
March 2021.
So almost a year after you had graduated high school.
Yeah. So I
Okay.
just did one semester, that first semester,
Mhm.
put in my papers, and then got my call to the Accra West mission.
Nice. And what were the feelings that came your way when you read Africa?
Pretty crazy. Like, I didn't really expect anything. Um, and I think that's a good thing to do, is like just go in knowing that the Lord is sending you where he wants you to go.
Mhm.
Um, but like I woke up, so you get a text now, you get a text and it says your call is ready to open. I was in my dorm at BYU and I decided to drive home to open it. My parents didn't know, like no one knew that uh, that I put in my papers. No one knew
Oh, really?
yeah.
Okay.
So I decided that on my
See, I was
own.
I was absent for all this. This is
Yeah,
while I
yeah.
was on
This
my
is why you were
mission.
gone. Actually, I would go over to your house for some Sunday dinners,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
think your family knew
Yeah.
because I knew they wouldn't be there. But
Yeah.
I put in my papers, and I woke up to that call, and I just I almost like had a feeling that's where I was going. Um,
Hmm.
I like had an Alexa in my room, and my roommate, we were all like stoked that I got the call, and I was like, "Play It's Time for Africa," and
Yeah, yeah.
I hadn't opened it yet, but um, yeah, just emotions were super high. Like immediately, I was super excited, um, celebrating with everyone.
Yeah.
Like my mom's kind of freaking out, and
Bless Shannon.
yeah, bless her, poor girl.
Seriously. And she's got another one out there right
Yeah,
now.
yeah, for real. Um, but I did go like that night. Obviously, like I didn't sleep at all. I'm just going through YouTube, looking up
Yeah.
Ghana videos, looking up everything I can, watching people that have been there.
Really quick question.
Yeah,
Remember where you're at because I don't want
yeah,
to
okay.
sidetrack too much. But when you say you went and looked up on YouTube, was there anything there in what maybe helped you learn more about
No, that's awesome.
Africa?
Yeah, so there wasn't really any like missionary things out
Hmm.
there. It was like just some random American going and trying the food,
Yeah,
or like looking up, crime
yeah,
rates there and
yeah.
what's the
The
living
sketchy
situation.
stuff.
Yeah, like,
Yeah,
but there's nothing missionary wise
yeah.
where I could like go and like
Right.
know exactly what it was going to be like
Well, and
besides just,
I did that exact same thing.
hmm
Obviously, I served in Virginia, so very different than you. But I remember being frustrated that there wasn't much, and so that's the goal of this. And
yeah,
hopefully, you can kind of, as we have this conversation, you know, share the things about Africa in particular that a future missionary serving in Africa
yeah,
might be helpful to
hmm
know about as they prepare. So
which is
yeah, just wanted
awesome.
to bring that up.
Yeah, like I have a cousin that's in Ghana right now serving, and Hinkley, my little brother,
Oh
is in
yeah.
Sierra Leone, which is like two countries over, all
Uh-huh.
West Africa, pretty similar culture. And like I just remember thinking I was so jealous of them because I would like talk to them every day, trying to
Hmm.
tell them what it's gonna be like.
Yeah.
And like I don't know, I don't really feel like I had that,
Hmm.
where I could go and know what it was gonna be like. I was
Yeah.
pretty blind going into it.
Right. And what were kind of the biggest, obviously there's a lot of culture shock
Yeah, sorry.
that you experience as you go to a new country like that, especially when you're raised the way that we are,
Yeah.
and we have basically everything at our fingertips. And we like to tell ourselves that we experience trials and adversity and we get humbled. But
Yeah.
going to somewhere like Africa, it's a whole different level of humility and kindness that I don't think you can really find here in the US,
Yeah.
you know?
So I went because of COVID, I did home MTC, and then I was at home doing home MTC, flew out to Ghana, and that next day I got sent out to this bush area, and I had a Nigerian trainer. So going from like home MTC and then like a 36-hour travel day straight to this small village. It's called the Bomosu. And they call it the bush in Africa. Like if you're going out to like the jungle or somewhere like not really civilized that much, I go out to this bush area and we reopen it. And like those first 2 weeks were, it's I can't even explain how like shook I was. Like we would go just like going from the mission home. We hopped onto Trotro, which is like the buses they use there. It's public transportation. I like to think of it as like a moving sauna. Like you just hop in there and you're just sweating, and I can't understand anyone. And we get to this place, we get to our apartment, and no one's lived in it for a year because of COVID.
Mm.
And we walk in, and there's just like rat poop everywhere. And I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. And immediately we drop our stuff. And I had a great trainer. Like he's pretty strict. Couldn't really understand him. He's kind of crazy, but like he was good enough to know like we dropped our stuff off and we just started going out and teaching.
Wow.
And I had like no idea. Couldn't understand people. Couldn't didn't know how to eat. Like I'm just starving, and we get back to the apartment that day, and I'm like, I had some beef jerky from my mom in my suitcase, and it's just getting eaten by little rats by the time I'm back.
Actually.
Then there's like there's a mattress on the floor in there, and I'm like just shook, like more than I've ever been in my life. And I don't think it's like that too much. Hopefully, I'm thinking it was a COVID thing because
Mhm.
every new apartment I got to was a lot better than that experience. But
Okay.
I'm so grateful that I got to experience that like super low first.
Yeah.
And then just those first 3 months, like just some of the hardest stuff I've ever experienced in my life
Yeah.
with like wanting to come home. Um, I'm kind of hungry. It's eating there's a little different.
Right.
Uh, yeah, I want to talk about more about like the beginning of that. So I
Yeah.
don't know if there's more questions that we can,
No, I think that's awesome, and
but
these are the kinds of things I was hoping to hear.
mhm.
You know, obviously, hopefully that's not how it'll be for every new
Yeah,
missionary,
uh-huh.
you know, but I think obviously in hindsight you can look back on that and there's a lot of lessons learned in the contrast of going from your comfortable home into the least comfortable environment you could
Mhm.
ever be in. Teaches you a lot really fast.
Like so fast.
But tell me about, obviously there are several different phases that you go through as a missionary, um, and sometimes it comes sooner or later. But when did it start to transition, and what experiences helped you make the transition from focusing on yourself and your needs and what you wanted and turning, outwards?
Yeah. And I think that's the biggest thing you can do is like you're thrown into a situation where you can't cope how you usually want to cope. You know, you can't just sit and scroll on TikTok or watch movies or any other like ways that you cope with adversity.
Mm,
Um, and you're thrown into this situation where you have to do it righteously, either like turn to the scriptures, turn to prayer, turn to helping others. And I think that hit me pretty hard, like pretty early on, just because I was just thrown into the mud like so fast,
yeah.
where every day just felt like it was forever. And I was just struggling so hard. And like, I remember that first P day I called home and I like said hello and I just started bawling.
Yeah.
And like, I just remember my older brother actually, he was like, because I'm saying I want to come home. I'm like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine doing that 2 weeks for like two years.
Yeah.
And he's like, these people need Jesus Christ more than you need your comfort.
Mm,
And like it's pretty simple, but it's so true. Like once I started thinking about the people we were teaching, and instead of like, oh, I'm hungry, like this is gross. I can't believe I have to shower with a bucket right now.
yeah.
And once you just kind of like started focusing on others, and also like I started focusing on the experience that I was having and like how cool it was.
Mm,
Like even though it sucked a lot, like I can't imagine another time in your life when you can just like be in some foreign place and not have to worry about money, school, girls, like anything at all. And you can just focus on like having the best experience of your life, helping people, changing people's lives. Like I don't even know of another like opportunity besides serving an LDS mission.
yeah.
Like there's nothing else like that.
Yeah. No, it sets you up in so many ways, and I tell kids this all the time because they get nervous as they prepare to go on missions because, like you've talked about, you leave all these things that bring you a lot of comfort, but it's insane how less stressful the life as a missionary is compared to life before and after,
Mhm.
because you really don't have much to worry about.
No.
It's like all you're worrying about is the well-being of those around you,
Like, I
right?
hope
And
I'm teaching them good
their
enough.
knowledge,
Yeah.
yeah, and their development in becoming a disciple of Christ and following and trying to be more like Jesus Christ. You don't need to worry about anything else. And then you come home, that's when you need to be stressed, and that's when
Mhm.
you need to figure that out. But it is like a weird and cool opportunity to be able to just write all that other stuff off and just hone in on the most important thing,
Yeah.
right?
It's so cool.
Tell me, I'd love to hear a few like specific experiences. I usually tee up this question saying, imagine your grandkids are all sitting down and they say, "Grandpa, tell me about your mission."
Mhm.
What are the few stories or experiences that you would share?
Something that comes to mind is a story of this girl named Sarah. I was in my 4th area, in an area I was in for a really long time. It was this village called Oda, and member work is like super important everywhere, but I think it's extremely important there too because a big struggle is retention.
Yeah.
So getting to work with the members to continue to do your work after you leave, I feel like is super important. There's this awesome family, this member family that we didn't know where they lived. Um, and we always kind of wanted to know where they were. And we were walking home one day. One day it's pretty late. It's like pitch black outside. We're just long day of trekking around,
Yeah.
talking to people, pretty tired. And um, we see the 12-year-old of this family, and he's walking home too. And I'm like, "Yo, what's up? Like, can you show us where you live?" And he was so stoked to see us. And we walked pretty far into the bush to like go see where they live. And that's all we want to do, just like see where they live so that we can know and just like get our base there. And
Yeah.
um so we're taking a different path home now, and uh we're walking down. We're like, let's try to go this way, make it home quicker. And we run into this dead end, and this lady screams at us in Tree, which is their local language there. She's like "Oh brony brah," which is like white man come. And usually it's like people trolling us a
Yeah.
little bit more. Like
Okay.
everyone just screams white guy.
Yeah.
And she's like, come teach me about Jesus. And usually it's nothing like you want to take
Serious.
serious.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I'm like, this girl seems awesome.
Yeah.
And we walk over to her and we start teaching her a little bit. And it's pretty late. And we're like, we're going to come back tomorrow. And we go back the next day and it was awesome. We go back the next day and it's awesome. And um, luckily it was right around conference. So I'm like, hey, can we come and watch conference with you? And so we go in there, and President Nelson was like, just gives this sermon, and she just is looking at the TV and she's just in love with him and was like, I love this guy so much. And it's pretty simple story. Like she ended up getting baptized, and like her family is just incredible. They're
Yeah.
all awesome in the church now, but just like little stuff like that where you're putting your effort out, and then like just God does the rest.
Yeah.
Like we could have been lazy and not wanted to go see that member. We could have been lazy and been home early, but like just being out doing what you're supposed to be doing. And then God leads us to like one of my favorite people ever.
Yeah.
She's just incredible. She was
Yeah.
pregnant at the time,
Oh yeah.
and she had her baby while I was still there, baby Heaton.
Oh, is
Yeah,
that the one?
that's the
Okay.
one.
I
So like,
remember hearing about
I
that.
mean, just like something
That's
so
crazy.
simple where like we just felt like the spirit to say like this lady's not trolling us.
Yeah.
Like let's go talk to her.
Right.
Where if we didn't listen to that, like just a whole different story
Yeah.
of my mission. Because like I think back of some of my favorite people that were there, and like she's one of them,
Yeah.
and her family and stuff. So like if we never did what we were supposed to be doing and listening to the spirit and like letting God take over,
Yeah.
then would have been way different.
Yeah. Well, and that perfectly illustrates basically every day as a missionary, where you're going out to do a certain thing or a certain activity, and 9 out of 10 times you go and start doing that, but then it leads to a whole different opportunity. And in your case, meeting a person who changed your life, but you clearly changed their life. You mentioned how your mission would look different, but think about how her life would look different.
Hmm.
If you and your companion weren't able to have the spirit with you and weren't in tune with those promptings. Um, I'd love to just rattle off a couple more.
Yeah.
Um, I'd also love to hear an experience too, as far as something that maybe paints the picture of what it's like serving in Africa too,
Yeah.
in general. Like
No, and
I'm
that's
sure
so
you have
true.
so much to dig through, but
No, I think something that can kind of depict what it's like there is back to like my first couple weeks. Um, so we are reopening this new area because there hasn't been missionaries there for a while. And one of the first things we wanted to do is find the bishop. So we're serving an award, not a branch, which was awesome. Um, but we wanted to go find the bishop, and we have some numbers in our phone. We call someone that says like translator, and we call him and we're like, "Can you show us around this village?" And he's like, "Yeah, of course." And we go straight to the bishop's house. And I'm pretty new. Like, I still don't really know what's going on. I'm kind of
yeah,
just following this guy. Um, and we walk there, and as we pull up, just this awesome big huge man rolls out, top and bottom G's only.
no way.
Yeah, like all of his G's are just on this clothesline, and I'm just like,
Here we
what
go.
is going on? And they're just rattling off some tree. Like, I don't know anything at all.
Yeah.
And he speaks pretty good English though, so he like greets me. I'm trying to keep my eyes like up here. I don't
Yeah.
want to see anything below. And I'm like, what is going on? Um, but they're so like just the kindest people ever. His wife comes out like missionaries, like they're so excited that we're back. And
Yeah.
she invites us into their place to have some fufu and some ground nut soup.
Okay. And fufu is like,
Fufu's
it's
like,
kind of like a filet mignon with like some
exactly.
French fries on the
Yeah,
side,
just more
right?
like Play-Doh-y.
Yeah.
So yeah, fufu is just like this Play-Doh stuff. It's super sticky, and it's like their carbs. They eat it with everything.
Mm,
It's either fufu or rice. Like that's what you're eating.
okay.
In Ghana at least. So she just makes us this meal, and she brings out one bowl, and we're both sitting on these benches that are like 6 inches off the ground. And they leave out of it, like it's respect to let you eat like on your own.
Really?
So
Interesting.
they like bring us these water pouches. They do the water in pouches. You bite off the corner and suck them out. And I'm like,
Okay.
I'm still trying to figure that out. I'm like,
Yeah.
what the heck's going on? My companion's trying to teach me like how to
Yeah.
drink the water, and they bring out one bowl. And again, everyone's just still in their G's.
Yeah.
Like that's it. And I'm just like, I don't know if I can do this right now, but I'm starving.
Yeah.
And my companion is like digging in, just
Yeah.
hands only. You eat it like this, and he's just, and we're
Yeah.
supposed to eat from the same bowl.
Right.
And I go for it, and it's just the spiciest thing ever. And you don't chew
Actually,
it. And I'm trying to chew it, and he's like, don't chew it. So I'm like, tears are running down my face from the spice, and I'm kind of choking because I'm trying to chew it instead of just swallow it.
yeah.
And then like tears were just flowing, and I didn't know if it was the spice or I'm like, what am I doing here? Um, but like I just ended up loving it. Like
Really?
I crave fufu all the time now.
Actually,
Yeah, I'm
ended
just
up loving it. Not that,
not
not
that.
that time
No.
though.
Like,
Overeating it for 2 years.
but yeah, and then we
Dang.
just said thanks and left from there. And you do that like all the time. They're so generous with. It's crazy because they have so little, but like they see the missionaries doing the Lord's work, and they wanna help, and they're like, eat this, and there's so many cool little culture things. And the more I dove in to their culture, the more I enjoyed myself, like
Mm,
trying to learn how to cook, trying to know like you don't use your left hand there for anything. And if you
mm,
do, it's like disrespectful.
interesting.
And like other other things like just getting into their music,
Yeah,
they love to dance, they love to have a good time
love it.
and like at first I was kind of in my shell cuz I'm like I don't know what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
But once I was like made that decision and it has to be a decision, but like to dive into their culture, their
Mhm.
food, the way they talk, their humor, like they're some of the funniest people ever.
Yeah.
Once I did that, like I feel like all of the bad things about like living there
Yeah.
went away. Like I didn't
Yeah.
really care about no AC. I didn't really care about, kind of sleeping on the floor on a mattress.
Yeah.
It's kind of gross, but like
Right.
trying to be like them and dive into that culture is like game changer for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This came to my mind as you were talking about that in chapter 7 of Preach My Gospel. It's talks about learning the language. And were you called to speak that
Yeah.
language?
I was an English speaking mission and I get there and my first sacrament meeting that I had, tree only. Like the
Really?
only English I heard was the hymns and the sacrament prayer.
Huh.
And I was like, this is, and like in my research, I did know that like,
You
oh,
know
they
that.
speak tree there, but like
Yeah.
I thought it would be less,
Yeah. Pretty
but it was,
rare to come across someone
yeah, but it
speaking.
was a lot more than I thought. So,
Huh. Interesting.
hmm
Well, and I ask that question because obviously you did end up learning a little bit of that language and other languages, but the biggest part about these languages is the culture. It's just
hmm
the complete vibe of a country. And Preach My Gospel gives really good counsel here. It says culture and language are closely related. Understanding the culture of the people will help explain the way language is used. This understanding will also help you communicate the unique aspects of the message of the restoration in a way that will be clear to people. One of the greatest things you can do to gain people's trust and love is to respect and embrace their culture in appropriate ways. Many great missionaries have done this, and it refers to Bible scripture in Corinthians. But yeah, I mean, that's Elder Holland talks on the page prior. He talks about how we shouldn't be satisfied with what he calls a missionary vocabulary. Like you should always be pushing yourself with they're talking mostly about the language, but I think also just the culture. And I know for a fact that you did this as a missionary because I've seen it. You've taught the cousins how to do some of these African dances at our family reunions and stuff. And I think that God expects us to do that as we try to gather Israel and to love one another as, God's children is
hmm
we embrace each other. We embrace the beautiful aspects of these cultures. And it's the coolest opportunity to be
yeah,
able to do that as a young 18, 19, 20-year old. It's like no one else in the world has the same chance to experience something like that.
yeah. Just to be able to go to a place and live among them and then like experience what they experience and fall in love with the people, it makes it so much easier to like love the work that you're doing.
Yeah.
When you love the people and then you love their culture, it's like, why would I not want to spend every day like trying to make these people's lives better
Yeah,
with the gospel?
exactly. I'm throwing a curveball at you. Were there any moments on your mission where you were endangered or scared? Whether it was an actual scary moment or something just kind of sketchy happened. Tell me a little about
Yeah.
that.
So in the African countries, they believe in voodoo, which is like a pretty serious thing.
Yeah.
I had this guy that we would see often. So you start seeing the same people almost every day because if your area is in a village, you kind of just like walk the village every
Hmm.
day and people recognize you if you're the only white guy in town or,
Yeah.
you know. Um, would see this guy and he'd always be like, give us money, give me money. And he didn't really love it,
Yeah.
that we wouldn't
Hmm.
give him money. And there's one day he was pretty serious about it. Like he came and kind of super blasphemous was like, in the name of Jesus, give me money. and like that didn't really sit well with me. It kind of got my blood boiling, and I
Yeah.
was like, you're not gonna say that, you know?
Yeah.
And he kind of like he spit right on me,
Wow.
and um, I remember thinking like, this is kind of cool, like getting spit on and
Yeah.
like for defending Jesus's name is
Yeah.
like something you hear about in the scriptures,
That's
and
so true.
it's kind of cool to experience it. Like
Yeah.
obviously in the moment I wasn't like, this is great, you
You're
know,
not
but
stoked.
I remember thinking like walking away from that, like this is pretty cool. But I woke up the next day, and people kind of learn where you live. And I woke up the next day on my front door. I opened the door, and there's a dead crow hanging upside down, and it's just like a voodoo thing there.
Hmm.
But that was one of the moments that I was like, this is kind of freaky.
Dang, dude. Good.
They're pretty like, especially in Ghana, it's kind of like an all talk people.
Yeah.
Um, and you learn that pretty quick. Like they'll get pretty frustrated, and some of them will start yelling and get in your face a little bit. But
Hmm.
um, especially these West African countries, they're really God fearing countries.
Yeah.
Like no other place in the world, I think that tag has that kind of power.
Really.
You know, they see like that you're there for Jesus Christ, you're there
Hmm.
for God, and it's a pretty God fearing place. Like
Yeah.
they all believe in God. There's very few atheists there, and they're like, you kind of have a certain level of respect when it comes to like, okay, I can't do anything too sketch to this guy
Yeah.
because he's got power, you
Right.
know?
That's cool. And I'm sure people listening will be glad to hear
Hmm.
that, and I, from a lot of these conversations that I've had, I've learned that expectation that we make up in our minds when we look up a place like Africa online, or Claire, who's helping me edit these videos, she went to Honduras, and she looks up it's the murder capital of the world, and though scary things can happen in these countries, scary things can happen everywhere.
Anywhere.
But it's funny because most of the time as a missionary, you just I mean, first of all, God is looking out for you. Not that hard and scary things can't happen to missionaries. We know that that's not true, but God gives you this sense of spiritual confidence to just do the work and focus on that, and not have these kind of worries that we all think would be such a factor in missionary work. It's kind of funny how removed you are from that as a missionary, where there are times on your mission where you reflect and you're like, dang, I feel like I should have been more scared or more like sketched out, when really I was just like,
Yeah.
it was totally okay. And
Hmm.
like, I felt okay about it, and the spirit was there, and we got out of that situation, or felt prompted to leave, and it was all right. But that's kind of the reality. And
Yeah.
people get stressed about those things. But I just say, don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Just
I really
focus
wouldn't.
on the work, focus on people, and things will things
Hmm.
will work out.
Yeah. Just the times that you're like, I mean, we walk home in the dark in some remote village in Africa every night.
Yeah.
And like, I don't even think I've ever like felt like I was so scared, you know? Like
Yeah.
it was just that's just what we were doing. We were just
Yeah.
walking home, where now you think about it, I'm like, I can't believe I was just doing that every
Yeah.
day.
Every day.
Just two young kids out
Yeah.
there, and we're just like doing it,
Yeah.
you
It's so
know?
awesome. No, I love that. Um, I'd love to talk about Preach My Gospel a little bit. What
Hmm.
was your what role did Preach My Gospel play in your missionary work?
I don't know. I feel like going through it every day, um, choosing Christ-like attributes from it, and then like trying to apply it to your work.
Mm,
And there's no better role model to have. There's no better missionary. Even there's no better role model in real life,
yeah.
is trying to get those attributes and just like really push them onto yourself.
Yeah.
Um, I also just think the lessons in there are incredible.
Yeah.
Like I would say before my mission, like I didn't really even understand how complete and full the gospel was. Like I would go through preach my gospel and the home MTC and like during my training and like throughout the whole mission and practice or look through the lessons and like something would click. And
Yeah.
I'm just like teaching myself from preach my gospel. I'm like,
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah.
It's just like learning the lessons like it's from the back of your hand, like just being able to know different parts of the gospel based on people's questions. It's all in there. Like you
Yeah.
don't really need to go deep doctrine anywhere else. Like it's the stuff in there is just so complete.
Yeah.
And I didn't really realize that until, I more converted myself from preaching my gospel like through the lessons.
Yeah. Absolutely. And like you said, I think a lot of the time we can get overwhelmed and feel the need to know everything
Mm-hmm.
about the scriptures, know everything about church history. And although that can be an important thing for our spiritual development as a missionary, you honestly should just focus on preach my gospel,
Mm-hmm.
focus on the Book of Mormon, focus on um, the things that are shared in there because it points you to all of this. It points you to the Bible and the Book of Mormon in the parts that are
Mm-hmm.
applicable to someone who is new in learning about Jesus Christ and his gospel.
Yeah.
And I just think, yeah, as young missionaries prepare, you get overwhelmed thinking you don't know anything, and it's probably true. We didn't know anything. I still feel like I don't know
Mm-hmm.
anything, but a resource like Preach My Gospel is so beneficial to young missionaries. Um, I'd love to wrap up by having you share uh just maybe one or two more highlights from your
Yeah.
mission, just impactful stories that changed your life.
Mm-hmm. I think for anyone going to West Africa, like just knowing how incredible the people are, I think it's a little bit different than perceived. Like you get home and everyone's like, oh, I bet everyone doesn't care about money or like everyone's so happy. Like there's still people, but just like the joy that they want to find in relationships and that the joy they want to find in God is just so incredible. Another story that kind of goes along with what we were talking about in Preach My Gospel with like the Book of Mormon being the cornerstone and like if we have a testimony in the Book of Mormon, we can have a testimony in everything that we teach. Uh, I was in this village called Nyakrom, and we would have to walk across this bridge to get into the village every day. And right at the other side of the bridge, there's this guy selling, it's like bread. They call buffaloes. They're like sweet bread. And we would talk to him every day, but he just was never really interested. And one time when I bought some bread from him, I just gave him a Book of Mormon. And um, guy was like the leader of his own church.
Hmm.
So they're all super religious there. They have lots of churches everywhere. Like that's, to be frank, like that's the main business there too. Like if
Hmm.
you're trying to be wealthy, you're going to start your own church and take collection.
Interesting.
So this guy had his own church, was doing pretty good. He'd just wake up, sell his buffaloes, and then go to his church, and that was like his thing. Um, and that's why he was never interested because
Yeah.
he had his own. But I left a Book of Mormon there once, not thinking too much about it. I did that with a lot of people,
Yeah.
And probably like 2 months later, we're just passing by again. And he like stops us, and he got to Third Nephi, where it says that the Lord's church should be in the Lord's name. Like if if the church is named after Moses, it's going to be in Moses's name.
Mm-hmm.
And his church was Kwame Boga Church. That was him. And he was like, I'm doing it wrong. Like this isn't like Jesus Christ church. This is my church.
Yeah.
And I just realized like how powerful the Book of Mormon is. We didn't teach the guy once.
Wow.
And just because he put his own effort into going through that book, like his whole testimony changed By the time I left on my mission, he was the Sunday school president in that branch.
Are you serious?
And like the effort on our part was extremely low. Like
Yeah.
we taught him the lessons after that. Like just him reading it
Yeah.
converted him just right away. Like
Wow.
he thought it was incredible and taught him the lessons, joined the church, and like he just kept going.
Wow.
And it really like helped me understand that if the Book of Mormon is true, then everything else in our church is true.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I Preach My Gospel says it, but it's like the cornerstone.
Yeah.
And he really helped me realize that, because after he gained that testimony of the Book of Mormon, because he felt the Spirit reading one verse about the name that the
Yeah.
church should be, he accepted everything else like
Wow.
so easily. Everything we taught him, no
Yeah.
questions. He's like, "Yep, I believe it."
Yeah.
And it just like shows the power that the Book of Mormon can have.
Absolutely. Well, it all stems off of that core principle,
Mm-hmm.
and what a cool scripture for that to be impactful. I mean, he
Yeah,
had read a lot of the Book of Mormon up to that
tons.
point,
Yeah,
and so it's cool that that's the scripture that helped him realize that. Dang, that's crazy. So, I just want to ask about him in particular.
yeah,
Um, what did those lessons look like? Like were you assigning him places to read, or was it just like you showed up and he had kind of questions?
yeah.
Like what did
In all of Africa, I feel like we are super blessed to serve there. And this is where I think maybe my mission was a lot easier than a lot of other people's missions,
Mhm.
is like these people's belief in God and their ability to have faith is just so like it's just already there,
Yeah.
you know? So during lessons, like you want to make sure you give them something to do. Um, and with Kwame Boga, it was like so easy to have him do something. If we asked him to, like, let's read this together, he wanted to read it.
Yeah.
If we asked him to, like, you probably need to stop your church if
Yeah.
you want to join our church, he would do it.
Yeah.
Like we just walked him through it, and it was just so smooth
Yeah.
because of his faith in Jesus Christ, because he knew that he needed to follow Jesus Christ Church and the Book of Mormon. Like we would go teach him about plan of salvation, ask him to pray about it and if it's true. And next day we'd go back on our way out to the village, and like every morning for about 2 months, like that was just the highlight of my day, is just
Oh
walking
my,
past that guy and having
hooking
like a
up.
20-minute lesson,
Yeah.
wasn't long. And it was just like slow progression to him, like leaving his church, shutting down his business,
Yeah.
and then, doing what the Lord wanted him to do.
Yeah. I love that you bring up the frequent 20-minute lessons. That's something that's huge
Yeah,
in Preach My
massive.
Gospel. And
Uh-huh.
I think that if you can get that with the people that you're teaching, their progression and their interest will naturally be so much better
Yeah.
rather than the every other week
Mhm.
2 hour visit.
Let's cram
It's
this in so that we can baptize him. Like we got to
yeah,
teach him this lesson. So
right.
like it doesn't really seem to have a lasting effect if you're
Absolutely.
like doing it so you can baptize him, because you have to check stuff off the list. Like
Right.
every single one of these people are just incredible people who have a whole life,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. And so yeah, that's such a cool experience. I'd love to end with you sharing what you wish you would have known before beginning your mission. Assuming
Yeah.
that a young boy or girl just got called to your mission,
Hmm.
what are some things that you could share that would give them maybe a head start as they start their mission?
Yeah. I feel like there's so many things that I wish I knew. Um, One, I wish I knew how difficult it would have been at first. Like I said, I was a pretty confident kid. Um, so knowing that like you're a missionary 24/7, you don't have a break. You don't get to watch a movie at night. You don't get to sleep in. Like, I wish I told myself, like, you got to be fully committed right now. Like, tell yourself, you make that decision and you go and do it, instead of like, oh, this is super cool. I'm going on a mission. Can't wait to open my call.
Yeah.
And then it hits you pretty hard.
Yeah.
I'd rather have made that decision a little earlier. And I did make that decision. It took some time,
Yeah.
For someone going to Africa specifically, I would learn to be patient with people. Not everyone's going to have the same knowledge as you. I would just learn to just love people as much as you can, like as early as possible. Like, these people are just the most incredible. Like, I can't believe that I was born with in the same life, and I'm born here in the US and they're born there.
Yeah.
Where like many of these people have never left their village,
Yeah.
and I'm getting to go to them, and I'm getting to be here, going to school, driving a car.
Yeah.
Just learn to love people and get to know them, build relationships, and they're just going to show you the most love you've ever felt in your whole life. And because of that, you're going to be one of the happiest you've ever been in your whole life there.
Yeah.
And don't focus on like, woe is me. I can't believe that I have to not have AC.
Yeah.
Or I can't believe that, my friend gets to be in England doing some awesome stuff while
Yeah.
I'm like it is the place for you to be if you're called there.
Yeah.
Anywhere. I'm not just saying only Africa, but
Right.
like the place that you are meant to be, and God knows you need to go there. Like, you should be so excited to know that this is the one time in your life where you have a signed document from the president of the church saying, this is where I want you to be.
Yeah.
You don't have to second guess yourself. And especially, I'm biased because I served there, but especially there, it's like, this is just the most incredible experience that I get to experience. Like, this is the most incredible thing I get to do.
That is perfect. I think that there is a lot of practical advice in there, but also just the overarching principle that God has a plan for you. And kind of going back to what I mentioned earlier, where these 18 months or 2 years that you experience as a missionary, not only do you not need to stress about the things of the world, but it's the only time in your life where you know with confidence that you're exactly where you need to be. Because
Exactly.
before and after, I mean, I ask myself that question every day. Am I doing what I need to be doing? Am I where I need to be? And that's something that we have to figure out when we're in the world, but as a missionary, you don't need to question that
At all.
there's zero doubts as you step outside every day, and you can just know that as long as you're following the missionary schedule and you're trying to have the spirit and trying to work with your companion, like, got nothing to worry about. You're about to experience so many things that will shape you into the exact person God needs you to be. But
That's
dude,
awesome.
thank you.
No,
seriously,
thank you.
this was awesome. We'll have to do this again more, because I know that you have billions of other stories that are just as
I
cool.
could talk about it forever.
Yeah,
My
dude.
poor wife.
Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me, bro.
Thanks, man.
Heck yeah. Thank you all for tuning in to this episode, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.